Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hi, it's Lady TrenettWilson, your lecturer and social historian. Welcome to another great episode. Now, I want to begin. We're going to talk about a very special man, but I want to begin with this. If you are a fan of the Gilded Age, then you have been watching the story of Peggy right here and Dr. Kirkland. Oh, by the way, spoilers ahead. Well, the Sunday night was the finale, and he got down on one knee and asked her to marry him. It was fantastic. His mother is played by Felicia Rashad, and it's beautiful to see Black people during the Gilded Age as they were during this time period. Rich, they were exclusive, they had balls, and it was wonderful. And there was a man, him, Dr. Kirkland, who was really a picture of the black doctors of that time period. And there was one great black doctor. His name is Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. He was the first African American doctor to perform a successful heart surgery, and he was also the founder of the Providence Hospital in Chicago. So that story is really a compilation of really all the great black doctors, but this great black doctor really made his name in the medical community. And I'm honored to bring you his story. Now, Dr. Williams was the fifth of seven children. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget it helps push it through the algorithm. If you don't like, if you don't comment, then they won't push it because they'll see, oh, maybe no one's interested. And who could not be interested in the first black surgeon who had a successful heart surgery? So interesting. Now, he was born again on January 18th, 1856, and his family moved to Annapolis, Maryland when he was young. But unfortunately, shortly after arriving, tragedy struck the family. His father passed from tuberculosis when Daniel was only 9 years old. His father's name was Daniel too, and he was a mixed race man, but his mother was African American. So I know you can see it here that you can tell he was a mixed race man. Now, his father's name was Daniel. His mother's name was Sarah. And Sarah, after his passing, was unable to handle all the children. I mean, they had seven kids, five girls, two boys. So she split them up and sent them to different relatives. However, Dr. Williams was apprenticed to a shoemaker in Baltimore, Maryland. But he ran away. He ran away to Rockford, Illinois, where his mother was. And so that's where they were. And then they later moved to Edric in Wisconsin with his sister, where he opened a barber shop. So this is where the interest for medicine was sparked. He was, a young man. He wanted to do something with his life. And so he entered medical school in 1880 at the Chicago Medical College. It's now called Northwestern. You in Chicago, are you all familiar with this school? Do you know Dr. Williams? I am just so honored to bring his story to us. Now, he graduated in 1883, and I always laugh at these stories also because doctors take 10, 20 years to become doctors nowadays. They are saddled with all kinds of student loan debt. Whereas back then, he went to school for 2 years and became a doctor. So things have really changed a lot. I think they got most of their education during the practice versus being in medical school the whole time. And remember, back then, his practice was so important because Black people could not go to white hospitals. So that is one thing that he did is open the hospital. We'll get to that part a little further in the discussion, but just a very interesting man. So in 1883, he graduated, and his schooling was financed by a woman named Mary Jane Richardson, and she was an abolitionist at the time. Now, he opened a private practice after he graduated, and he did this from 1885 to 1888. He also taught there at Northwestern during that time as well. Now, in 1887, he was appointed to the Illinois State Board of Health, and he became an attending physician for the Protestant Orphan Asylum Hospital. And that's where children who didn't have homes would often end up. So that's where he did. So he was a forerunner to all of these Black doctors. entering the field, and it's just beautiful to see. I really want to see more Black doctors, especially males, into the field. Right now, there's a lot of women who have entered the field, but our gentlemen need to be in there as well. Now, in 1891, he took his practice to another level by opening the Providence Hospital in Chicago, Illinois, where he not only treated patients, but he also instructed doctors and nurses. So, Black doctors and nurses during that time period was taught by this doctor, Dr. Williams. But now his claim to fame didn't come until 1893, when on July the 10th, 1893, James Cornish was injured with a pokey thing through the ribs, and it stuck through to his heart. Now, he went into the hospital, and Dr. Williams checked him out, and he saw, okay, I'm going to have to do surgery. So he planned on doing surgery that morning. But the patient started showing symptoms. He was actually going into shock. He was coughing a lot. So the doctor decided, no, we have to do it now. So that's what he did. He kind of really went in and fixed the wound that was in the heart. So there had been open heart surgery, but there had not been any conducted by a Black man that had been successful. And so Dr. Williams is that first man. Now, mind you, he did this without any penicillin, and he didn't even have the equipment to perform a transfusion, which needed to be done in this case. And so, can you imagine the skill level of this man? I am just so proud to bring you his story. If you're proud to listen to this, and if you're, excited to know that we had a Black man who was able to open a hospital, who was able to perform surgery, would you mind hitting that like, share, and subscribe button? If you're not a subscriber, definitely subscribe. So, look at these pictures of them doing surgery. It's just a beautiful, beautiful picture. A lot of times we don't see this side of Black history. We often talk about one Black doctor. We didn't know there was a whole, quadri of them that was going to schools and being educated, that our little Black children couldn't go to other hospitals. But because of these people who dedicated their life to medicine, they are able to get waited on. So I just love that. So that was his claim to fame. Mr. Cornish, he made a full recovery and he was able to leave the hospital. And here we see Dr. Williams' home while he was a doctor. Now, mind you, he didn't get married till later in life, and we'll talk about him getting married. He actually was married in 1898, but he lived very simply. He was a simple man. He had a simple call on his life to help others, and he lived in very the small house here. So that's very interesting. Maybe because he was a bachelor for so long, he could live like that, right, wives? And here's Providence Hospital, the hospital that he founded, one of the only segregated hospitals actually in Chicago at that time. Now, the same year, Grover Cleveland, he was the president of the United States, appointed him surgeon in chief of the Freedman Hospital in Washington, D.C. He served in this role until 1898. Coincidentally, that was the same year he finally settled down and got married to Alice Johnson. She was a graduate of Howard University, and she must have been something special to tie this man down because he never wanted to get married. He was 42, in fact, when they finally were married. Now, they never had any children. And that's another, sad part of that he didn't pass those genius genes down to the next generation. Dr. Williams kept practicing and accomplishments kept rolling in. He opened a nursing school in 1897. Oh, in 1895, he founded the National Medical Association for African American Doctors. And in 1913, he was a co-founder of the American College of Surgeons. So he continued his career on, and we are so proud of Dr. Williams. What an amazing man. I would say he was. Now, if strangely enough, though, when he passed, there was some question about the number of people that attended his funeral. They said he was more of a solitary man, so he didn't have any friends that attended. And again, he didn't have any children. And in 1924, Miss Alice had already passed away long before he passed on August the 4th, 1931. He passed after suffering a stroke. So that is why I think many of us are just now finding out about his great, his feats and him being the first African American man to perform an open heart surgery. So I hope that you enjoyed our lecture today on Dr. Williams. He retired in Idlewild, Michigan, by the way. So I thought that was interesting also. So I hope that you enjoyed another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. As always, of course, my lectures are for entertainment and educational purposes only. And if you're a Gilded Age fan, let me know down below because you're going to definitely be a Hunter's Point fan. Julian Fellows, give me a call. I would love to be a consultant on your shows as well. Now, don't forget that all of my lectures are for entertainment and educational purposes only, and the Fair Act use is in my description. Now, if you want to continue to learn, definitely click down below. Now, my resources were blackpass.com. Also, Daniel Hale Williams, American physician. I looked at some of his biography there. And during Black History Month, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, Galter Health Sciences Library. Thank you for joining me.